Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we are looking at the Pz.Kpfw.V Panther Ausf.G Ausf.G or Ausf.G by Italeri. Now this is a brand I don't usually use or haven't used much in the past, mainly because there wasn't an awful lot of availability for that brand in Ireland where I am located back in the day when I was a kid or a teenager, or even when I kind of returned to modelling in my 20s. But I've seen a few bits and pieces of them over the more recent years, and I've picked up a few figures and odds and ends here and there. But this, I believe, is my first Italeri kit. So this particular set is a twin pack, for want of a better term. It comes with two tanks, both Panthers, and they're sort of a fast assembly or quick build format for, I presume, really wargaming, which suits me down to the ground because that's what I'll be looking to use them for. Having said that, they're a nice little kit, and there'll be a nice little basis for, shall we say, kit bashing or whatever, sprucing it up a small little bit to add a bit more detail, but that's up to yourselves. One or two little things with them. I must say there's one or two little kind of discrepancies or oddities, perhaps, maybe is the easiest way of describing that. But anyway, look, we'll have a quick look at the box and we'll take it from there. So basically it's 1/7/2 scale. It says especially developed for war game use, which is fine, that's fine. It has decals, of course, inside. Each model contains 12 parts, and there's a little exploded diagram on the side here to show you kind of basically what you'd be getting into. Model kit number is 7504, as you can see here, and it's Wargames approved. As I said before, when I was looking at the Italeri Fallschirmjäger, and that's great, excellent. I can now use it for war games. Anyway, side of the box, just your usual sort of thing, you know, a little bit of dimensions and all that. Same at the end there. At the other side here, you have, as you'll find with most manufacturers, they'll have a little bit of information about other kits that are available in their ranges. In this case, you're looking at some T-34s, some Panzer IVs, which I may actually have a set of those somewhere, I'm not sure. I certainly thought about buying them at one stage years ago, but we'll have a look in the old stash in the attic one of the days, maybe that'll be another review. And some 251s there as well, which look quite nice, and this is the decal sheet that you get with it. I did see a review somewhere online, and the reviewer said that there was no decal sheet with it. Maybe that's an earlier format or version of this, but there certainly was in this one anyway. Gives you kind of two colour schemes at the back, neither of which I'll be using, although I'll be using something that's kind of similar to the top one, but it won't be exactly the same as that. And it gives you the Italeri acrylic paint numbers on the bottom there. Of course, if you wanted to match them with these colours, you could just either get the Italeri acrylic paints or obviously get a conversion sheet online and you'll be fine. So that's the box. Let's quit my rambling about the box. Let's have a look at the deck or the instruction sheet. The instruction sheet, because it's an easy build, very, very straightforward, as I always say. This really now went together in I'd say about 7 or 8 minutes at most, and you little bit of glue and off you go. Not even sure if it stipulates that you should glue them, but I tend to glue these things anyway. And some more details about the paint there on the back, just your usual warnings, you know, don't glue children to things and whatever else, and off you go. So that's that. The aforementioned decal sheet, we'll have a little look there. They're nice little decals, I have to say. They're not too bad. You get a, what is that, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the Balkan Cruise, I think it's called, a German kind of national insignia there, which is cool because you probably only be using really 2 on each tank. I just have a look at the back there. Yeah, well, maybe 3. It kind of shows 1 on each side of the tank, either on the hull or the turret, and then 1 in the case of this top one here on the rear. So we'll see how we go, but it might leave us with 1 or 2 spares, which is good because some manufacturers actually don't provide you a decal sheet, and it's handy to have 1 or 2 handy ones knocking around. So let's have a look at the sprue. Right, the sprue then, you are looking at, where are we here, get this out of my hand, you're looking at this sort of a setup here. The hull upper and lower come separately. As you can see there's detail isn't too bad at all, I have to say. I love the old one-piece track system, as you've heard me mention before. Now accuracy levels are okay, as I said there's one or two oddities, but we'll get to them in a minute. In here you kind of see the teeth a little bit there, probably wouldn't be able to see those in reality, but look, you know, big deal. Detail itself isn't too bad at all, I have to say. You got the jack there, I think it is, and a few bits and pieces. Comes with the MG34 already positioned in the ball mount, which is nice because the amount of those things I've dropped on the floor over the years is just countless. Exhaust system here, and of course your 75mm gun turret, and mantlet and so on and so forth. This is just kind of the internally kind of at the back of those sections, so that's those. Let's have a look at the lower hull. That's the easiest when it comes to hand. So again, you have kind of the sprockets and bits and pieces, suspension, whatever it is in place already. Again, these are, as I say, a fast build. A little bit of detail in there, it's quite nice. Take note, armour fast. But that's it really. I mean, it's a good solid plastic. I like the colour as well, because if you're doing a kind of a dunkelgelb sort of a colouring over this, is kind of a nice natural kind of undercoat, if you want, or base tone, whatever you want to call it. Top of the hull then, what we're looking at is this. Detail isn't too bad on the top. Engine deck looks okay. Everything's fairly okay along here. Yeah, you got your kind of mudguard things there and all the rest of it. Pretty cool. Little slot there for the light, which I actually broke off the one that I put together to show you in a moment. But anyway, here's where it gets a little bit interesting. Along the side of the model, it kind of shows, shall we say, a bit of spare track. These are all moulded on, towing cable and so on and so forth. I think you can see that there. And it's not exactly in the configuration you'd see in other Panthers. Now, whether that's accurate or inaccurate, I can't really say, although I did look online for a considerable time the other evening, and I didn't really see it kind of laid out this way on any of the period photographs or models or anything that I came across. And there's another little thing I'll show you in a minute as well, which you might have noted in the instructions, which I didn't point out on purpose, but you'll see it on the model itself. But yeah, once they're painted up, they actually come out fine. It's a little bit clunky up here where my right thumb is, but it's okay. That's kind of the only real kind of fault I'd have with it. Like, I mean, you know, you'll always have a little bit of inaccuracy here and there, depending on the manufacturer and even the version that they took their I suppose measurements and dimensions and all the rest of it off. So, but there you go. It doesn't come with side skirts, but it does have the mountings for side skirts, so a bit of plastic card, or alternatively, I think is it Early War Miniatures or even Armorfast themselves do a range of bits and pieces for the Panther in 172, and you could easily accessorize that with that kit. This matches up quite well to the Armorfast one, so I'll show you that in a moment as well. So the tank itself, as I reach over here, the tank itself comes with these little lugs here just to lock in, which I think is quite handy. So it clicks in place. We'll put that down there, see if we can get the camera down to it, so whoops, so you can have a little bit of a better look. Maybe zoom in a little bit, might help. Light isn't really helping today, but however, basically the tank itself, as you can see, I've done it in my own kind of colour pattern that I've been using for the last couple of years. When I get to go on to different types of tanks in the next couple of weeks or so, I will be changing out of that colour with a range of Panzer IVs to do, and I'll be kind of doing a little bit different. But this was just because I had started in that colour scheme many years ago, and I said, look, oh geez, I'll just continue with it, and I did. And if I was starting again, I wouldn't have used it, but there you go. So as you can see, the bits and pieces I was talking about on the side, I mean, they paint up fairly okay, you know, they're not the worst. I like the accuracy, or the detail, should I say, on the road wheels and that. Now I know they probably wouldn't have been black, but as I say, this is kind of tying in with an older set of bits and pieces that I did, and I just kind of continued the theme. Again, you got your bits and pieces at the back there, it all looks okay, and here on the side as well. As I say, a little bit clunky up along here, I don't know if you can see that, but look, most of you guys are far better painters than I ever could dream to be, so you probably do a much better job at that than I did. But as I say, it's a sturdy little model. It looks good at a distance, kind of like myself, and as a result I'm relatively pleased with it. The one thing I was saying earlier is this tube here, along here, as you can see that I believe it contains the components for cleaning a gun barrel. A little bit larger than what I use for the old 2.2 and the shotgun, I'd imagine, but at the same time I've always seen this located on the side of the tank. I believe it's on the left hand side normally, and I've never seen an example with it mounted back here. I don't know why that is, and I've looked online, took a bit of time yesterday evening doing it, a little bit of research, and I could not find an example of a Panther tank in any variant or variation with this located back here. So I don't know, is that incorrect, or was there a mounting somewhere and whatever, it was just designed that way for this model to tie in with that. But I would have always seen it along here. But hey, look, there you go, it's mounted there. I had the option of putting it in that particular position, and I chose to put it here as per instructions. So look, that's my own lookout, as they say in Tipperary. But I just said I put it there, and I pointed out to you guys just as a matter of interest. Now, so that's the tank. Let's have a little bit of the old traditional size comparison. Actually, I'm going to remove this plinth underneath here, which is actually a box of Airfix Africa Core from the Vintage Classics, but that's another review another day, which we'll get around to, and we will do a little bit of a size comparison. So there is our Italeri, and here is a Plastic Soldier Company. Now I do find that the Plastic Soldier Company one, as I've said before on videos that I've done about Panthers, is the largest and chunkiest of the bunch that I have, and as a result, I won't say I'm displeased with it, I'm certainly not, because it's like a beautiful model, but it is a bit on the chunky clunky side, again, like myself. But anyway, so I'm just going to put some of these guys up here, and I'll go through them just to show you from a comparative perspective regarding size. So this is our Italeri, this is our Plastic Soldier Company. Again, as I say, this lad is a little bit on the large side. This is the Airfix, which is considerably smaller in comparison to the Plastic Soldier Company, but isn't too far off. I mean, it is noticeable though, however, in comparison to the Italeri one. So that's the two of those guys. We also have a Revel, that whole thing again, which is 172, and as you can see, they match up relatively well. The Revel one is fractionally larger, but nothing in comparison to the Plastic Soldier Company. Lovely kit actually, the Revel one, I must say, and comes with a lot of bits and pieces as well, so you know, it's a cool kit too. But pretty close, couldn't really fault that from a size comparison perspective. So that's that lad. What else have we got there? This is an old Matchbox, which of course is 176, as would have been the Airfix, although I'd say the Airfix is even smaller. So you can probably see there the Airfix is a little bit smaller from a size comparison perspective, but you know, it's okay on the Wargames table. So that's the Airfix guy. What else have we got? We got one of these D'Agostini die-cast things, which are pretty cool, but I kind of thought about repainting that to match in with the colour scheme that I have there for the rest of the battalion, but you know what, I'm not going to, because I really like that. Really is what it boils down to. So that's that. That matches in fairly well. Also, as you can probably see, I know I'm kind of doing it from an elevated standpoint here, or whatever viewpoint you say, but when you put them side by side and you get down beside them and all the rest of it, you have a look at it eye to eye, they're pretty accurate size wise, and those two. And also we have, if I can just get this last one in here, this is the Armorfast one, which matches up pretty much bang on, no faults there really, and both of those are easy build or quick build kits, so I suppose they're probably the most comparable from kind of a brand and a specification perspective. Size wise, yeah, couldn't fault them. Look, any brand will have its discrepancies and things you'll find inaccurate about it or whatever, but at the end of the day, you know, the Italeri one is a good little kit. It matches up well with, as you can see, the few bits and pieces I've shown you there. Again, a little bit small comparison to the Plastic Soldier company, but that's more to do with Plastic Soldier company rather than Italeri or any other brand. A bit bigger than the Airfix one, and matches in with the Revel, the Agostini, and sometimes released as Altea and a few others. A little bit larger than the Matchbox, and matches in pretty darn close with the Armorfast one. So from that perspective, that's what you get. A little bit more detail on the Italeri one, it has to be said, especially in the track section there, although, you know, Armorfast one is fine as well, you know, in fairness, it's wargaming, so hey, there you go. If you're looking to have a really detailed model, at the end of the day, you're probably not going to be purchasing an Armorfast kit, or possibly even the Italeri one, but from a wargaming's perspective, these are... they're basically excellent, I find, anyway. Doesn't come with a kind of a air defense gun mantlet there, whereas the Armorfast one does. You know, some of them do, some of them don't, but as I say, you can, if you're anyway handy at all, you can kind of jimmy up these things yourself easily enough, and off you go. So that's it, guys. That is basically my little review on the Italeri Pz.Kpfw.V Panther Ausf.G or G. In 172, and I must say I quite like it. I would recommend it. I hope I've shown you the ups and downs, pitfalls, advantages, disadvantages, etc., of the kit. If any questions, stick them in the comments, and I'll try and get back to you within a calendar year anyway, and we'll see how we go. And other than that, thanks a million for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and if you have, my thanks, and I promise we'll be back with a few more videos fairly soon. All the best, take care.